When I was little, my father sang my Bonnie every night. Because my name is Bonnie, it felt like our private lighthouse. 3 notes that made the dark tolerable. He died when I was 10. I'm 17 now. The song still makes my throat tight. Like the first time I heard it and didn't know grief yet. Last night, I dreamed he came back.
In the dream, he was older than I remembered, his face drawn thin and pale, his eyes sunken into shadow. He stood by the foot of my childhood bed and smiled a smile that carried everything he'd left behind. He sang in a voice sandpapered by whatever came after the living. I woke with the song on my lips, my blanket damp where I'd wiped my face. Sleep slipped away like mist. The house was a held breath, radiator ticking, the moon a blunt coin through the blinds. I told myself it was only a dream. Then the door moved. A bony hand eased it open from the inside, steadying the wood so it didn't creak. For a second, I thought it was the cat. Then the man stepped in, dragging a smell of cold earth and rust. He was all angles and hollows, his lips gone so teeth and gum showed like a jagged shoreline. Dirt sifted from his shoulders in tiny, dark rain. Small crusted wounds pitted his shirt, like old bullet holes or dried raindrops. Each step shed a little more soil onto my floorboards. He shuffled to the foot of the bed and sat. Up close, his eyes were very wrong too still, and yet carried the private cadence of recognition. My body had folded into itself. Fear had turned me to the mattress. Breath caught. The room felt thinner, like someone had sucked the air out to make room for whatever he was. He looked at me as if seeing a photograph brought back into being. Then, with that voice I could have sworn belonged to my father and did not belong to any man alive, he said, "Bring back my Bonnie to me." The words landed not as a demand, but as a plea that had been rehearsed in a grave. I should have said his name. I should have said, "I'm here." Instead, the memory of the little girl he'd tucked in hair tangles, the missing tooth, the hand small enough to fit in his unfolded behind my eyes. He hadn't meant the song, he meant me, the girl who fit in his palm. He wanted what time had carried away. I tried. My voice broke into the mattress. He tipped his head like someone listening to far-off music. Dirt fell from his sleeve and embroidered my duvet. "Bring back my Bonnie," he repeated, patient and exact, as if naming me would peel me off the years and hand me over whole. The song crawled up my spine. It had always been a bridge, now it felt like a tide. If I sang, would the current take me back with it? If I refused, would he take me anyway? My hands found the hem of the blanket, and I realized, with a slow, furious clarity, that the thing at my feet was not simply asking for a child. It wanted the shape of me before the world taught me to be separate, before I slept through what I should have seen. Before I learned to live without saying the things that might have kept him. I started to hum.
He smiled, the dirt on his knuckles staining the sheet, and the room listened as if waiting to see which of us would be carried away first. The house sat still. The song hung heavy in the air. A battle of wills fought in a child's bedroom.
As Bonnie continued to hum, the room began to shift, the walls blurring and twisting as if reality itself was unraveling.
The man's form flickered, becoming more transparent as the humming grew louder, his features fading into the shadows. Memories flooded Bonnie's mind. Her father's laughter, his warm embrace, the sound of his voice singing her to sleep. With each note, the connection to the past grew stronger, the grip of the present loosening its hold. Suddenly, a surge of strength coursed through Bonnie, a defiant refusal to be defined by grief and loss. She changed the melody, infusing it with her own pain, her own memories, her own will to live. The man recoiled, his spectral form flickering violently, his eyes filled with a mixture of anguish and recognition. With a final sorrowful whisper of the song, he faded away, leaving behind only the faint scent of earth and the lingering echo of a father's love. The room returned to normal, the shadows receding, the air clearing, as if a great weight had been lifted.